Any questions before we get started? No? Okay. I'm excited to jump into. Yeah, so this is just the jargon, the blabber about what we're going to be doing today. Just understanding various forms of assessments. And this is more so to participate and assist if the time comes to conduct some of these, because they mostly just fall on me to do on the BCBA, but it's also very important for RBTs to be familiar with the processes as well. Okay, why do we do assessments? Well, when a new client comes in, or when they are due to have their plan revised, it's a good time to look at where they're at. It's looking at some of the baseline data as far as some of the behaviors we want to target, whether or not they be problem behaviors that we would like to see reduced, skills that we would like them to acquire. And yeah, every other period, it's good to kind of check in on seeing what the client's progress is in terms of all their goals, whether they're in the ISP or the VIP. And with the various assessment tools that we have, I may show you a few that I like to use come tomorrow when we start talking about the skills assessments. They're all very broad and cover a lot of domains, but it's also useful to think of them being applicable to the individual clients and their particular needs to see where it is we can support them the most. So that is why we do preference assessments. Yeah, and it also gives us the information we need to know what to prioritize. Let's say you would have a client who could benefit from learning safety signs, being able to identify those through various match the sample. However, they have very low delay tolerance, or they're fairly aggressive. And that aggression may get in the way of their learning, so it might be best to address that first before targeting some of these other skills. And one of the assessment tools that I like to use, Essential for Living, it pretty much categorizes all of the skills into must-have, should-have, good to have, and then nice to have. We should ensure that the clients have all the nice, or no, not the nice skills, but the ones that are should, the ones that are non-negotiable, the ones that every single individual has to have in order to live a functional, meaningful life. So we're going to be looking at 3 broad categories of assessments. The first one we're going to talk about today is preference assessments. So this is identifying what the individual client likes. So then we can use that as possible reinforcers. Tomorrow we'll talk about skill-based assessments. So seeing where they're at in terms of the necessary skills they need. And then functional assessments. This is us really taking a look at to what are the controlling or influencing variables of various problem behaviors, which we have touched on here and there, but it's also really nice to be able to do it in a systematic fashion. Yeah, preference assessment, finding out what the client likes, skill-based, what they can do, and function-based, why behavior happens. Those are very important questions to ask ourselves. So the next couple of days, we'll talk about the other 2, but right now let's focus on preference assessments. You can kind of think of them in 2 broad categories. We'll get to those later, but essentially what we're doing with preference assessments is, again, identifying the things that the client enjoys, the things they like. These things that they like could serve as reinforcers. Not everything that you enjoy is maybe necessarily something you want to earn or work for. For instance, one client could like music, but that doesn't mean you have to reinforce it for them. That doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to want to work for it. Whereas another client, that music may be a reinforcer where they are willing to work for it. So there's a very important distinction we have to make between preferences and reinforcers. Because something that used to be a reinforcer could merely turn into a preference, or they no longer find it desirable to begin with. Conversely, something that just used to be a simple preferred item may all of a sudden become a reinforcer. It's very dynamic, and we also have to take into consideration all the motivating operations in place. So preferred items, preferred activities are not the same thing as reinforcers. It's very helpful to be able to identify those things when the time comes. Then we have two broad categories here, formal and informal. Informal would just be very simple, just asking the client what it is they like to do. There's this nice questionnaire that I like to do from time to time with some of the clients who may have a tough time being able to identify what some of those things are or what they could be. So a huge list of various of things, activities. Let's say it'll ask them to rank their top 3 favorite movies, favorite shows, favorite types of music, favorite places to go out to. But I always like to do it in that interview style. Now, there may be times where a systematic or a formal approach may be necessary, but I think in terms of the settings we are in, it's much more suitable for, I would say, very, very young children or clients with incredibly limited speech, or ones that really don't have that many things they enjoy. And doing it in a formal way may be a way to tease out some of those potential preferences or those potential reinforcers. And then the cool thing about the formal one too is it gives us a good idea of a ranking list of things that they enjoy. This thing, they kind of like it, maybe a reinforcer from time to time, but this thing, oh, they absolutely want to work for it. It's absolutely something that could be reinforcing. Any questions thus far? Okay, now we're going to get into the types of formal preference assessments. So again, these are the ones where you implement a systematic or a system to be able to find those preferences. So the first one is called free operant or free operant observation. This is where you let the individual, the client, go into a room, and there's a wide array of different toys, items. Oh, and that's another thing about preference assessments. They're usually always in the forms of items, activities, or edibles. So it's really looking at only one of the 4 functions of behavior, that for access to tangibles. So preference assessments are really ideal for seeing the types of social reinforcement an individual may enjoy, let's say. It's more strictly about things, items. Yeah, so you let the individual go in the room, and then they start interacting with each one of the items, and then you simply record how long they're interacting with each. Once the session ends, the item that they interact with the most seems to be the candidate for a preferred item. And that is I guess that is an assumption. The thing you spend the most of your time doing is the thing you prefer more. Yeah, so those items, the ones that the individual spends the most time with, are the ones we rank as preferred. And this is useful for when the individual has severe problem behavior, where they may have a tough time relinquishing items, or when they are presented with a choice. They'll make a choice, they see it as a demand, want to swipe it away, etc. Guys, okay, let's see what it looks like. So this is a free operant edition here. 5 minutes in. So you see the RBT just standing in the corner like a fly on the wall, has a stopwatch, just timing the amount of time the client is indicating with the item. Oh, guess the phone's more fun. Yeah. Phone's way better than basketball already. Man, we're past a minute and she still has a phone. Oh, guys, that's looking like a reinforcer to me. Oh, we get the camera. All right. I should figure it out. Looks like the spinner may overtake the phone. So from this point, it's safe to say that it's either the phone or the spinner that may be reinforcers in this case. Yeah, but that's free operates. Put the individual in a room with a wide array of things they may like, and yeah, let them have it. In contrast, we have single stimulus, or this is just successive choice. So this is where, like free operand, you have a range of different items, except instead of giving them free reign and free access and just seeing how long they'll interact with them, you then instead hand it to them and give it for a set amount of time. And you simply record if they accept it and they start interacting with it, or if they push it, or they don't respond to it. And this is really just doing it one at a time. So you do one, up, Johnny doesn't like that, so then we'll go on to the next one. Oh, they seem to like that one a little bit, and then so on and so forth. Rinse and repeat until you've gone through all the items. And then this is best for individuals who have a tough time choosing and a tough time being able to attend to a wide array of items. So you can imagine there could be somebody who goes into that kind of room, the free operating room, and they just don't know what to do. So let's see what this looks like.
Single stimulus.
Single stimulus. Is it frozen here too? Yes, it is. Oh man. Now I'm having technical difficulties. Oh, there you go. Let's try that again. All right, so they have the balloon. Oh. A few folks who might enjoy that. Okay, yeah. So you guys can see that is single stimulus, one choice followed by another. If they like it, great. They can interact with it a little bit. If not, then we'll just move on to the next one. Now, what if we add another stimulus to it? That's where we have paired stimulus or forced choice. And this is them making a choice between two items. Do you want this one or do you want that one? That's essentially what we're asking. And what you do is you pair each one of the different items in with at least every other item. So that way, every single one has been tested with something else that is different. And that gives us a good idea of a hierarchy. If something keeps beating out, if toy A keeps beating toy B, D, C, we can tell that that one would be something that is preferred. Yeah, paired stimulus. It's like single stimulus, but I make a choice. Let's see what this looks like.
Pick one. All right. All right, that's a very good pick. Awesome. Okay, my turn. Pick one. Whoa, you got the ducky. Very, very good. Awesome. My turn. Pick one. Good. My turn. Pick one. Yeah, let go. All right. All right, well done.
Yeah, very simple. All you have to do is just pick one. Now, what if we add even more stimulus in an array? So this is multiple stimulus without replacement. So the basic idea is you get another array of items, and the client picks one. It could be an edible item, so they could consume it, or they can play for it for a while if it's a toy or a manipulative. and then that item is removed from the array. So then they pick from the smaller array. And then as they choose, the items get smaller and smaller until there are either no items left that they're willing to pick, or they have tried everything. So the very first items that they may go for could be the preferred items. And then the things that are left behind, let's say, could be the ones that may not serve as preferred items or reinforcers. Yeah, and this is going to be a lot more time efficient than free operand, because those are more based on the total duration of time. Same thing with fixed stimulus if you're trying to track basically the amount of time that the client is engaging in those items. But here, yeah, you choose that, okay, now you have 3 left. You choose it, okay, now you have 2 left. Choose it, oh, there's only 1 thing left. Do you want it? No? Okay, you can move on. And here is a demonstration of it.
So we're gonna play a picking game today, just we're gonna for you. And ask you to pick one, okay? Okay, you ready? Go ahead and pick one. Seems like it's kind of cool. Let me see. All right, that's pretty cool. You can like shake him, play with him, walk him across the table.
Yeah, I like. Anyways,
Okay, my turn. Thank you so much.
yeah, but he's still there.
Okay, are you ready? All right, pick one. Let's see. Oh, the hammer. It's such squeaky sounds.
Turn on the
Shake
chair.
it. Does it make more sounds when you shake it?
It doesn't have on the chair. That's fine.
All right, it's in. Thank you. Are you ready?
Yes.
You sure?
It's
Okay, go ahead. Take one.
I'm gonna do it on my own.
You like that? You can toss it around. Let me see how good you can catch. All right, ready? One more time. Okay, ready? Good job. Okay, my turn. Thank you. Okay, you ready? Good one. Good. Hey. You guys are just little animals.
You feel like
Does it shoot? Let's see.
I don't think this works.
Okay, we can still see it. Moving forward. Okay. Yeah.
First one.
Okay, ready? Are you sure? Okay, pick one.
The last one.
Woody's pretty cool, right? Is he sweet?
I think no, I don't think so.
Or Woody. Yeah. The child, he did bring up a good point. He was asking her, hey, why are you moving them around when she covered it with the clipboard? Anybody want to take a guess as to why she did that? It is to overcome something that we call selection bias. There could be individuals who, let's say you put that array, and they always choose the thing at the very right. But they're always just picking whatever's on the right. It doesn't matter if they like it or not, they just pick that one. Or they only pick what's in the middle. So to mix it up ensures that whatever they're picking, it can kind of give us a good idea as to its preferred value. Okay, that's multiple stimulus without replacement. Well, hold on. What if we replace the stimuluses? What happens then? So here, the preferred item is, or the thing that was selected returns back to the pool or the array. And you keep going through the rounds for a set amount of trials. And from here, you can kind of see, okay, is this always going to be their preferred item? Are they always going to choose this? Is this always going to be their favorites when it's still within the other items? Yeah, and the main reason we might want to choose multiple stimulus with replacement is if you remove it, if you say, okay, now it's my turn, and then remove the highly preferred item, that could lead to some problem behavior. Again, maybe one of the reasons why you want to go with something such as free operants. You don't want to make the assessment itself aversive. You don't want to make it unpleasant. And if you always demonstrate that the preferred item is still available, that might lead them to maintain their cooperation and go through the assessment. This will be the last one we'll take a look at. It's with the same file in our tree. Wait, this is without.
So we're gonna put
There it is, with replacement. Oh, this time it's with food. Interesting.
Right. Hello, my friend. How are you doing today? Good. Can I get a high five? All right. I'm gonna present you some stuff. Okay, it's kind of fun. Okay. And all you're gonna have to do is pick one when I ask you to pick one. Got it? All right. You're about to find out, my friend. It's a surprise. It's a yummy surprise. The best types of surprises. Yeah, me too. Okay.
What is on the floor though?
Pick one.
Oreo. I always pick this one first for some reason.
Huh.
Good job. Thank you.
Good thing to know.
Uh,
How's that Oreo tasting? Pretty good? Was it delicious?
yeah,
Have you had Oreos before?
yeah.
Does it taste like an Oreo?
Yeah.
That's
It kind of melted when I said no. That's fine.
good. It melted a little bit. You ready?
Yes. 3, 2, 1.
Pick one.
Okay, no, I did.
Good choice.
It's healthy. I really like it, but I don't like it with seeds on it.
You don't like it with what?
I don't like it with seeds on it.
Oh, really? Why not?
Because they're like really, I think it's like gross. But I want to take out the seeds. But this one doesn't have any seeds.
Let me see. Go like this. Are y'all done with that?
I'm
Almost?
still eating it.
Okay. I'll give you a couple seconds. There you go.
Gone.
Pick one.
I think that again.
Ooh, all right.
Chocolate.
Chocolate, huh? Chocolate's always good.
Yeah.
Chocolate.
You always eat chocolate. Or some foods. How many snacks are there?
There's a lot of snacks, so you're gonna get hungry. I mean, you're gonna get full, huh?
Do you see my cousin?
Are you ready? Pick one.
Chocolate. Why is it chocolate? So much.
Good choice.
Let's try this bread. It tastes like not normal bread.
It tastes like what type of bread?
It tastes like original. It tastes like normal bread.
Okay. Do you like it though?
Yeah.
Okay. It's normal bread.
It's like chicken.
Good chicken.
Okay, you guys get the idea. Yeah. It was funny how he admitted that. Huh, why do I keep picking the right? I don't know why. Yeah, that's why it's important to mitigate the selection bias by moving things around. Okay. Yeah, in order to prepare for or to do conduct a preference assessment, you got to prepare for it. So you got to make sure to have all those items. And yeah, some of the same things we move distractions, make the only things that could be reinforcing are the actual items being presented. And we also want to keep in mind the MOs, the motivating operations in place. One of the items in the preference assessment is a tablet, and they've been able to use the tablet for an hour. That might seriously affect the results of the preference assessment. Or what if we conduct the preference assessment with edible items like the past video right after they have lunch? It doesn't seem as though it's going to give us a good view as to what the true value of the reinforcers are. So all these things are very important to keep in mind. Okay, that's what we have for the formal preference assessments. And I think for our intent purposes, it may be much more helpful to go down the avenue of incidental or naturalistic preferences, informal preference assessments. Because just as we were talking about when we're doing the various forms of instruction, contrasting discrete trial training with naturalistic environmental training, we want things to happen as naturally as possible. We want things to be more functional in the everyday. For the adult clients, it seems to be a little bit more practical, using the naturally occurring opportunities throughout the day, as opposed to the discrete trial training where we're sitting in front of them at the table, delivering instruction. And I think it's going to be the same, very similar case when it comes to identifying potential reinforcers. Now, then we can think of a handful of clients who they don't present the things that they may be interested in all the time. But there always has to be something that they can find reinforcing. Even if these things appear a little bit more hidden, I think there are some things that we can do to be able to discover those potential reinforcers. This is something that I've been trying to do a lot better as I pursue kind of being able to collaborate with you guys, the hair care homes, because everybody has to have something they like. That's just a matter of fact. Yeah, so we can mix some different techniques and strategies together. So looking at our first method, doing a more naturalistic approach to free operants. Yeah, just allowing the individual to be around potentially reinforcing or potentially preferred items and to see how they react. If they're attending to it, if there is some joint attention where they're also drawing your attention through it, through their gaze, you guys might be onto something. If they're messing around with it, if they're showing it any at all curiosity with it, it could be something worth looking into. And again, this is happening completely naturally, not contrived. We do have a contrived method in just a moment, but this I think is the most easiest one to implement. Yeah, you can contrive the opportunities by approaching the items to the clients. Now, maybe just because somebody hasn't demonstrated an interest in a particular sensory manipulative or a particular toy doesn't necessarily mean that that is always not going to be something that can be reinforcing. It's always good just to mix things up, just to be able to demonstrate them in a moment's notice. Yeah, and just kind of just experimenting with what kind of things we could implement. And it doesn't have to be anything too convoluted. It could be quickly introducing it. Oh, you want to try this? No? Okay. Maybe we could perhaps try again later. Yeah, something like blowing bubbles seems to be a very effective reinforcer. Yeah, and then this is interviewing people who know the individual pretty well. That's something that I try to do a little bit more nowadays with some of the meetings for the clients. If we're having trouble identifying things that they would want to do or the things that they like here at the program, well, let's see if they got anything at the care home that they might enjoy also doing here. And given in a context of doing it as a group, may also make it more enticing for them. Because again, you never know unless you try. So this is something that I've been, again, trying to practice a lot more out, kind of tease out from the various care homes that our clients reside at. Yes, reinforcement sampling or just giving freebies. Hey, you might like this, just give it a shot. There are no strings attached. If you like it, great. If not, no worries. You can always move on to the next thing. Yeah, being able to provide these things, not contingently, just like with NCR as a strategy to mitigate problem behavior, this could be used to potentially find something they like. And if it's just given to them for free, there's not that big of a cost on their parts. It's not like they're earning it. They might give it a shot. Who knows? They might like it. Yeah, and then this is just kind of summing up some of the points we've discussed. Things to really look out for, again, is are they attending to the item in some way? Are they demonstrating some level of curiosity or attraction to what that stimulus may be? And is it similar to something else that they enjoy doing? Perhaps they are driven by visual stimulation in the form of lights, or again, something like bubbles could work, or spice. Just being able to see something brightly lit up. Music, explore the kind of genres that they're interested in. Yeah, there's just so many variations of reinforcers that there could be. Now, before we get to the questions, there was a video I wanted to share with you all. This is a very common concern. How do we find or discover? How do we discover reinforcers for individuals, especially when they have limited speech? And I think Dr. McGreevy provides a great.
What if you have a student that doesn't have a preferred item and he doesn't eat or drink throughout the entire school day?
Yeah, no preferred items.
Right, so how would I find a reinforcer for that student?
Keep looking.
Like he enjoys riding a bike, but bike's not an option all day long.
That's right. Keep looking. Now, I know that sounds like I'm almost dismissing your question. No, I don't mean it that way at all. No. Look for things that aren't obvious.
Mhm.
Example. Does he like to sit somewhere? Does he like to sit next to somebody?
Yeah.
Would he rather be in a corner of a room? Would he rather be out in the middle? Look for things that are potentially preferred things that you're not used to thinking. They're not food, they're not toys, they're not games, they're not things that you're looking for. They're things that are there and they're generally right in front of you, but you don't see them.
And you're teaching him in that area, like he
Yeah.
prefers quiet corner, so I teach
There
him
you are.
in
That's
quiet
it.
corner.
That's it. And you teach them demand for that. There you are. The things that you don't think about as potential reinforcers. They're not a game, they're not food, they're not some jumping music, they're not headphones with music, they're not all those kind of things, but they are things. There are things there. You just don't notice them. I'll give you an example. Several years ago, I got a wall I can use. Several years ago, I'm in a high school classroom. These are all high school age kids. And same thing. Teacher said, he doesn't like anything. Now, she didn't really mean that, but she said, I can't determine what he likes when he doesn't like. So, well, just let's let him go. Just let him wander around the room for a while. Let's just see what he does. What do you think he does? He goes over to the edge of the chalkboard like this. I'm gonna see if I can do this or not. He starts giving himself a back scratch off the edge of the chalkboard. Who on earth would have ever thought that that would be his first man? This is another thing Jack Michael used to tease me about, little phrases I used to make up. I'd say a preference is what? It's a man waiting to happen. Preference is a man waiting to happen. What do you do with it? There you are. See? Most people would have learned it's a reinforcer, potentially. Okay? So I said, there you are. You mean we could teach him to ask to get himself a back scratch on the side of the chalkboard? Yeah. Gotta start where the learner is. Then we put a table on this side. We had some choose just to see if you would go to the other side. You know what the other side? It's the same bloody back scratch over here. You would think it's the same damn thing, slightly different angle. He was not the slightest bit interested in that. Wanted that one. Now, who would have guessed that? Who would have guessed that? You know, you would never in the world. Well, let me see. I'm going through my preference list. Here's another thing. Remember, we were talking about this earlier today. When you do your preferences, you always put two things to make. Be careful of that, because that's going to get conflated with making a choice. Learner may not be able to do this. Put one item at a time, one experience at a time. Don't make them make a choice. You know, that's the kind of things I think about. Look, there was an old country song. I think it might have been Garth Brooks, but I could be wrong on this. Looking for love in all the wrong places. Anybody remember that song? Is it Garth Brooks? I don't know. Might be. Doesn't matter. You know where we picked up on the title? Looking for preferences in unexpected places. That's why we got intrigued with that title, because it was kind of catchy. Looking for preferences in unexpected places. There you are. And you'll find them almost always. But the thing that will be frustrating about it is they'll be right in front of you and you didn't see them. It's always been frustrating for me. They're right in front of you almost, but you don't see them. That's the frustrating part of it. But they're there. Most of the time they're there. I mean, I had a guy one time years ago that could rock and walk at the same time. Now, I would screw up my back if I tried to do this. But he could carry on a walk and rock at the same time. And he wanted to do it in one hallway, only one hallway. We could never figure out what the fascination with that one hallway was. That's where Jimmy wanted to do it. And I'll tell you what, some of the strangest doggone preferences just when you think you've seen them, then somebody comes up with something, you go, where the hell did that come from? I mean, I'd never seen it before. Don't see anybody that ever like that before. We had a guy one time that loved cucumbers, but he didn't want them peeled. You'd think cucumbers would be a lot tastier if they're peeled. Not for him. You peeled a good cucumber, he wasn't interested. And he would take cucumbers over candy and crackers. And would go for cucumber. How would you get that? How do you know that? How would you know? You wouldn't know. So there you are.
There you are indeed. Yeah, so as he was saying, you never quite know what kind of reinforcers or preferred items an individual might you could use that. Okay, kind of short on time, so let's go through the questions, and I'll save time for your questions. All right, guys, what's the primary purpose of a preference assessment? Hearing B?
B.
Yes, B. Potential reinforcers. All right. Which assessment is best for a client who engages in problem behavior when items are taken away?
C.
Very good. Yes, free operands. In a paired stimulus assessment, how many items are presented to the client at once?
2.
B.
Yes, 2. So quick. True or false? A client chooses an item during a preference assessment. That item is guaranteed to be a reinforcer.
Yes.
Oh.
False.
Oh.
It is false, yes. Again, they may enjoy it, they might like it, but are they willing to work for it or earn it? If you are conducting a multiple stimulus without replacement and the client picks a granola bar first, what do you do with the granola bar in the next trial?
C.
Yes, you remove it. Without replacement. So that granola bar is not getting replaced. Last question. Which of the following is a sign of subtle interest in a client who appears to have low motivation? D.
Daddy.
Okay, Brandon. Yes. Yes, D. All the above. All these things are things we want to look out for. The advice given by Dr. McGreevy is also things we want to keep in mind.
Yeah, Daddy.
Okay. Any questions you guys have so far? All right, bye. Bye. All right, guys. Tomorrow, skill assessments. Yes.